Okay, so this one's going to be a bit different. Now, I already shared these tips on Instagram, but I figured I'd make it in video form. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the actual tutorial that I posted on Instagram, like read through it, and I'll kind of explain what I'm talking about. And then at the end, I'll go through some examples of the way that I use this silly tip. So let's do it. All right, so I say tongue that back. So I say one thing we artists tend to do is overthink the subject we're drawing in a way that prevents us from simplifying said subject in an easier to remember way. So sometimes all it takes is for us to imagine our subject as something else entirely, something much simpler to draw, and use the other subject as a visual trick, a mental analogy. Now, if whether or not a tongue is easy for you to draw or not, that's like up to you. But a tongue, it's a tongue. So I say, so I argue this: if you can draw the tongue, you've simplified the back. And then I have these two little examples here. And as you can see, tongue equals back. And then right here, here's another little example. Tongue out of mouth is a back. It fits right in there. And then over here I say the idea is that it combines both the trapezius muscle group and the latissimus dorsi into one shape, the shape of a tongue. And that's just kind of like a general example. Right, you got the trapezius in blue, the scapular muscles fit there in that little middle bit, and then the latissimus dorsi, the yellow thing. It all, you know what I'm saying? It just fits. Okay, now this is very important. The dip at the top of the tongue is also almost the same way that trapezius muscle dips at the base. And there you see that little heart shape, the red on the skeleton, the little dip. And then it's like, it's the same dip. I say the same way we draw the muscle group when drawing the figure. And that's kind of the dip that I'm talking about right at the top of the trap muscle. Now here I got the tip of the tongue leads me directly into the center of the sacrum triangle that sits right at the top of the butt. In other words, it tells me where the butt crack is. And if you don't know, the sacrum triangle is like where you get, the back dimples that you get in the lower back. Those two, and then like it leads directly into the start of the butt crack. And there you see the little example, the triangle in blue is the sacrum triangle. The tip of the tongue leads directly into that. And that's kind of the point. It's a pretty silly visual trick, but damn it if it doesn't help me get the width and shape of the back. Maybe it'll do the same for you. Specifically, it's great for quick sketching. That's kind of the point with this tongue shit. It's don't really take it seriously. It's not like an actual technique, but it actually does help in some weird way. I'm telling you. And I say here, for me, the goal here isn't to forego learning all the individual muscles, since that's always ideal, right? But rather it's just a way to mesh what would be many different shapes into one shape and captures the same outer contour. I didn't even get that what it said at the bottom there, but see, there's all those shapes. Forget all the shapes. Just draw the tongue. Just draw one shape. You know what I'm saying? Tongue that back. Alright, now we're moving on to the examples. You see here, I put down the tongue, put the head, and I don't know, man, the tongue, just putting it down is like, no, I should say, it's more so just for the latissimus dorsi. It's like that muscle that kind of looks like it's wrapping around you. It goes into the armpit. And that's kind of why I even saw a similarity. You got the line, the center line that's going straight down the back. And then, I don't know, the tongue it has like a squarish kind of volume at the top of it where the dip is, as opposed to like the tip of the tongue, which is obviously it's going to be a lot more sharp. But yeah, so, and then, okay, yeah. Now I have here this example. So I drew out like a back, kind of like a more realistic looking back. And then I put here, I remember I put the tongue, yeah, there you go. So, the tongue. So, okay, yeah, It's dumb, but for some reason it just clicks with me. Right here I have and you know what? In this example, I think the reason why it works for me so well is because it reminds me of like the bean method. In this particular example, it looks like a bean, but just a bean with a dip at the top. And so I feel like that's kind of why it resonates with me so much, is because the bean method is like my favorite of the figure drawing methods. You know, there's the box, the box cylinder whole thing, and then the bean method. And the bean method is like top tier in my opinion. And then there's the tongue. Well, actually the tongue isn't for the entire figure. It's just for the back. And like the tongue on its own, it's got like a volume to it. It's like in this example, you know, you can see like the under part of the tongue, and it's like kind of simulates a torso from the back. And then it also reminds me of like a typical torso shape, like the one that I'm using here. And in fact, I think that's like something that I saw in an Ethan Becker video, like a really long time ago. That's like the thing that I used right here in this example, and this being the torso shape that I was referring to. Then I think here with this one, it's kind of, I tried to show a more subtle, I mean, he's not standing completely like straight, but you know, it can be used for a pose that isn't as dynamic as like being all the way bent over, like flying or something like that. And that is going to do it for this video. I hope I encouraged you to draw some tongues. So obviously, you know, this tip is kind of a joke, but if it worked, you know, if it clicks with you like it did with me, then go forth, tongue those backs. And with that, that's the end of the video. I'll talk to you guys later.